Welcome back to another episode of Defy the Odds Basketball podcast. I'm your host, Wyatt Guerin, and in today's episode, we are going to be building on a topic that we talked about in our last episode. So if you haven't already checked out that episode, it's episode 9, so our last episode. Make sure to go check that out. Basically, what we talked about is how to stay locked in on the process, the training portion of basketball. So everything kind of besides the actual games, how to stay locked in on that process of improving your game. So in today's episode, we are going to expand on that. We are going to be talking about how to get locked in for a game and how to stay locked in during the game. This is also kind of talking about the idea of flow state and how to access it. And before we do get into today's episode, make sure you do like the podcast, leave a rating, follow, subscribe, share, do whatever you can, as it does greatly help out. And if you have any topics that you want me to go over in the future, make sure to just leave a comment. I'm always looking for ideas, and the whole point of this podcast is to help athletes learn, develop, grow. So if you have any ideas or recommendations or things that you want to hear, just make sure to let me know. With that being said, let's get straight into today's episode. So a lot of the things we're going to be talking about today, I'm going to be giving you guys a lot of ideas, concepts, practical tools that you guys can take and apply to your routines, to your game, to your mindset to help stay locked in, or get locked in and stay locked in a game. A lot of this is also going to be preference though. So it's going to come down to kind of the kind of person you are, like how you play basketball, like how you perceive it, how you take certain things. It's all going to come down to like who you are as a person, who you are as a player. So I'm going to try and give some broader ideas and kind of help and to give you guys a starting spot so that you guys can go then take that from there and narrow it down to find what works for you. Okay. So how to prep for a game and stay locked in during a game. So in a lot of our previous episodes, if you've listened to them, we talked about how to practice to get better. And we talked about we don't want it to be easy. We want it to be difficult. We want there to be challenge. We want there to be like variability, real game scenarios, right? Like maybe over exaggerated drills so that when you get into the game, it feels easier. So this is what we want in our training. Now, what we want in before a game, right, is more psychological momentum. And this is where you see those more set pre-game routines, right? The form shots into the mid-range shots, into the free throws, into the three-pointers, right? And they slowly build in spot shooting. But you also see like them get into some like live shots. If you're watching like the NBA, for example. Now, obviously, if you're, U14, you only have like 10 minutes to warm up before a game. But again, you still might have your pre-game routine, right? You do your warm-up off the court, you get on the court, you do a couple free, your form shooting, and then you slowly progress it, right? But this is where psychological momentum is so big, and this is something we don't really want to do in practice all the time. But what psychological momentum is basically kind of seeing the shot go in and like building on that. So it's like each shot you see go in is like kind of raising that, like the bar of confidence, you could say, in levels, right? So as you see a shot go in, it starts to build and build and build, right? And this is why starting close to warm up and just slowly moving out, seeing that ball go in and over and over can really help you get ready for a game, because you can't going through the challenge, like you could throw like a challenge warm up in, but seeing the ball goes in gives you that like that temporary hit of like just confidence, and it can help you get ready for the game. Now, that's not going to say you're going to play good in the game. You can miss every shot, and somebody that didn't make any shots in warm up and was feeling really like bad about going into the game could go in and have one of the best shooting games of their life. But it's still a good way to approach your warm up, right? Other ways for getting ready before game is controlling your nervous system. So a lot of the stuff we're talking about can be done before and during game. So like the psychological momentum, right before the game, you can use it to warm up. During the game, you can also use it to, again, that idea of that building, like that meter, right? Like that confidence meter. So with this, right, you can't obviously take a form shot, but what you can do is get a rebound, right? Take a charge, do something that you can control, do something that you have control over, right? So it could be rebound, it could be getting a stop on defense, right? Picking up full court, getting a stop, and these little things, right? Then it turns into an outlet pass, which is an assist. Then you get a transition layup, right? These little things can start building that like momentum, like that meter, right? And start building it up, and then soon that's how you kind of get into that flow state. You stop thinking, and the game's just taking over, right? So the next idea here is controlling your nervous system. So this is going to get a bit more scientific, but there's two different types of nervous systems. So we have our sympathetic nervous system and our parasympathetic nervous system. So our sympathetic nervous system is our fight or flight response. So when we get into dangerous situations and our body is like getting sweaty, dilated, like pupils, like tunnel vision idea, heart rate's increasing, breathing's increasing, it's because we're either getting ready for A, to fight, or B, to run, because our body is dictating that we're in a dangerous situation. Our parasympathetic nervous system is the opposite. So it's our rest and digest system. So this is like our calm nervous system. So a powerful tool here is being able to control these nervous systems for a game, right? So before a game, right? And again, this is one of the big ones where it comes down to who you are as a player. Some players play better, like hyped up, like ready to go, right? But some players play better. Some players play better calm, right? So we need to be able to control these, right? If you're playing like fast and like intense and just like super hyper, that's going to be more of your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight system, right? And if you're playing super maybe laid back or super like almost too comfortable, that's probably your parasympathetic nervous system. So you can control which one you're in, right? And again, you might need to control, if you're getting like too excited before a game, you might need to try and dial it back a bit. If you're not maybe feeling ready enough, then you might need to dial it up a bit. So ideas, so reading before a game, right? Reading doesn't matter what it is, right? Maybe something like kind of stimulating, like something like that makes you think, or not just like a magazine, right? Or reading about the last night's game, like something like you enjoy, right? That can help bring that nervous system down to that rest and digest, right? So your parasympathetic nervous system. Or something like music, right? This could do both. You could play some calming music to bring you down. You could also do some super like pump up music to bring you up. And then another one, breathing, right? So if you're feeling like you want to bring your nervous system to the parasympathetic, right? So you're kind of resting nervous system to feel more calm. Then you do some like deep breaths, right? So like some, in for 6 seconds, hold for a couple, long breath out, right? Or if you want to start feeling like hype, like you want to kind of build that like nervous system up and get ready for that game, then you could do some like really short, quick breaths to get you breathing fast, right? Like to get you, like to almost like trick your body into getting into that sympathetic nervous system. And then another one is visualization. You could do so many things with this. Like you could use it to calm down by like, just imagining the game, slowing it down, picturing the moves, how they feel, and just kind of feeling that control over the game. You could also visualize it as like that psychological momentum. You get a rebound, you go down, you get a tough layup, right? You get a steal, right? Like you hit the game winner, and you get like, you use that to like ramp up your body, right? So there's a lot of tools here, and this can also be applied in the game if you find yourself, right? So this can be used during or before the game, but also during. So during, right, if you're getting like too hyped up, like after a big play, couple plays back to back, that might be where you have to kind of start taking some deep breaths in, right? So like controlling that breath, right? Bringing yourself back down. Or you might need to start like to like get into that like hyper like that, fight or flight sort of system. So you might do those like quick breaths to kind of like trick your body into that. But again, it can be used before or during, and it can be a powerful tool. But it depends on A, the situation you're in at the time, and B, the type of player you are. Do you play better calm, relaxed, or do you play better like just full throttle? And that's something that you're going to have to kind of work on, and it might be a mix of both, right? Maybe depending on the game. The other one is having some positive self-talk, and this again is before and after. So before, just talking to yourself, even just like that reinforcement, that reassurance of, you're a good player, you've put the work in. It's like we've talked in previous episodes about journaling, like in the morning and reflecting on your goals, or just kind of reaffirming what you've done, and that's how a way you can start building confidence. Doing that before a game is good too, but it's also really important. It's good before a game, but it's also really important during a game, right? Like, just if you make a mistake, you're staying positive, right? As soon as you get down, everything can start to crumble from there, and it's a lot harder to build it back up, right? Then, it's a lot harder to build it back up than it is to keep it there. The other thing with positive self-talk is if we think about psychological momentum, right, and how kind of like that analogy of like having a meter, right, and every time you get a little something, you building. If you've ever played 2K, it's like, you're like takeover bar, right, where you get a bucket, you get a steal, you get an assist, and it's going up and up, and then you turn it over and it goes down, right? Well, we don't want that, right? We want it to stay, but we also know that the turnovers, the missed shots, they're going to happen, right? And you might have a really good game and they might not, but the chance is that they will happen, right? But there is ways to deal with that, and again, being a positive self-talk, right? Or I've even seen like some players at like my university, like they'll be warming up and they'll be shooting, and really good shooter, and he'll miss like 3 in a row. And what does he do? He's like laughing about it. You can see him smiling and like chuckling, and that's his way of like telling himself, like telling his mind, his body, that that's not normal. It's not normal, right? So he's taking that pressure of like that worry off of caring about it, right? And he's telling himself that he knows he can make that, and he's not worried, right? And that it's funny that it rimmed out twice in a row, right? So stuff like that can help keep that psychological momentum where it is, so to help prevent you from leaving that flow state. And another idea is like the next play mindset, right? And this comes down to like perspective, right? And understanding that one mistake doesn't determine the game, right? One mistake doesn't determine your career. One mistake doesn't determine you as a player. And one mistake shouldn't derail your game, right? You need to understand that even if you're having the best game of your life, you're still probably going to have like 4 turnovers. You're still going to have 4 missed threes. You're still going to have, a couple of fouls. It's impossible to have an actual perfect game, like across the stat sheet. So be okay with these things, because if you're not, it's gonna hurt you more, right? It's gonna take you away. It's gonna take your mind instead. It's gonna shift your attention, and then you're gonna lose that flow state, and then you're gonna start making more and more mistakes. It's like this momentum, but opposite, right? It's not a good momentum now. It's like you're going like a snowball effect, and you're starting to make all these mistakes, and you can't control it, right? So it's easier to control it at the time than let it build up into something that it shouldn't become, right? And a tool that I think is good for this is if you make a mistake, you find something to like let it go. So like clap your hands once, right? So you miss a shot, or you turn it over, you clap your hands once, and you have to like change your mind, or clap your hands once and you have to change your focus, right? So you miss, clap your hands, back on defense, get a stop, right? It could be like, even tapping the floor, anything like that, right? Something to change your like attention back to the present, right? And this is also like other tools like that is focus, right? So like if you're on the bench during a timeout, and you need to kind of refocus, like find something to focus, like find something to draw your attention to. So it could be your teammate's like shoe, like just stare at it, right? 10 seconds maybe. Say how you're feeling. Like if this is maybe after a bad play, like a turnover, missed shot, maybe a bad sequence, you look at your like teammate's shoe, or maybe like the free throw line, like a spot on the floor, lock eyes with whatever target you have, right? 10 seconds. Label how you feel, why you feel that way, and then you have to tell yourself, like you have to come to some sort of like letting it go feeling, like, right, and moving on. And after that 10 seconds, you just like breathe in, breathe out, and you're back, right? You're back in the game, you're back in the present, right? The great players don't let one mistake separate them, right? Or like derail them, because that will make or break your career, right? I said how one bad play won't, define you as a player. It will if you let it, right? So it's important to be in control. And talking about being in control, the next kind of 3 ideas here are just going to be talking about in-game ways to just kind of keep that feeling of locked in, that feeling of like that psychological momentum. We've filled that bar with our momentum. We're in that flow state, how we can just stay in there. And this one goes for, we've already kind of talked about this one, and it goes for the whole game, but it's controlling what you can control, right? So there's always going to be stuff in a game that you can't control. You can't control if the ball goes in the net. You can't control if the other team makes and misses it. You can't control what the refs do, right? And you might be saying, well, if I play really good defense, they could still just hit it, right? You could be the best shooter in the gym, and you still just might miss it, right? You just don't have that. You just don't have I'm gonna put it in the net, and it happens, right? You can't just like say it, or else you would shoot 100% every game, right? So, but there are things you can control, like your attitude, your body language, right? Your nervous system, like your effort, your hustle, right? So picking up full court, taking charges, diving for the loose ball, right? Jumping as high as you can for the rebound, right? Talking to your teammates, high-fiving them, staying positive. All of this is stuff that you can do. And again, it's those little things that it's going to help, one, either get you into that flow state, so it's going to help build up that momentum, or 2, help you stay there, right? Like body language. If you miss a shot, stay positive. Tell your body that missed shot doesn't affect you. Don't give it power. And our next idea here is it's kind of still just these. They're all building on each other here, but it's talking and communicating, right? We already talked about this kind of, but like talk with your teammates, communicate, right? Again, this is going to help you stay in that flow state or get into it, right? Because it's something you can control. And on the bench, right? If you get pulled off, for a break, be positive on the bench. Like be the one leading the defenses, like the defense chant. Be a leader, right? Be like control that emotion or like that attitude, and show that show your teammates that you're even though you're on the bench, you still care, and that's going to tell your body that you still care, right? And that you're still a part of the game. You're not just like sitting there like thinking about what's for dinner. You're in the game still, right? So that when you get back in the game, you're still ready to go. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Again, a lot there. Some practical ideas though, and tools to use. Again, some of this comes down to how you play, your play style, like kind of like your mindset, like the nervous system. Like if you're like more of a you play like super, fast or super energetic and hyped up, or if you play like maybe more calm, or you maybe need more in the middle, or you might need more like just kind of a bit of both. It doesn't matter. It's just what it matters about for you and you finding this. But I hope this kind of helps guide you guys in the right direction and gives you kind of a clearer way of how you can get locked in, like how to start locking in before a game, and then how you can keep that like feeling of being locked in during the game. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like always, if you do enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, follow the podcast, share it, do whatever you can. and leave a comment on anything that you want me to go over in the future. I'm always looking for ideas and recommendations, and I would love to help you guys out with anything that you have on your mind. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next episode.